This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels all on the airways. Keep sitting hundred like every single day. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels all on the airways. Keep sitting hundred like every single day. RPX. Yeah, just the RPX where you can sit back and catch a vibe at. But your mind gotta be open like a surgeon with a scalpel. Mixed with the tips that can help with the mental, also the spiritual, and even the physical. The way she break it down, you don't need a visual. Always keep it fair and also critical. Everything is clear, ain't no need for subliminals. Growth is essential. The love is not rental. You might be perplexed, but it's so simple. If you wanna know how you can interact, just hit the IG or the Glock or where it at. So come get involved. It don't even cost. Just hit the DM if you need to talk. So all my good people out there, stay blessed and make sure you tune in to the RPX. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels all on the airways. Keep sitting hundred like every single day. This ain't no shade, this ain't no flex. Just make sure you tune to the RPX. Stay dropping jewels all on the airways. Keep sitting hundred like every single day. RPX.
Chill. My earphones are still weird over here. I can only hear out one sound, man. In any event, we are here on another episode of the X Radio, which Glockaware kindly hosts us every Thursday at 6 p.m. You can find us. We are live on YouTube right now, so go ahead to YouTube, search Glockaware, and hit the live link. Today we are in here with, special guest, Camille from Answer the Bell. You can find her at atbphl.com or atb... Answer the Bell, right?
Yes,
Answer the Bell on
I
Instagram.
know, I had to shorten my website because it was taken.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's a lot of,
Yeah, internet space.
Yeah.
So, look, that just gives me a little nice segue.
Go ahead.
Right? Because I don't think that I explain this enough, right, to people, what Answer the Bell really kind of stands for.
You know what? I didn't realize that was, first of all, your last name.
Bell is my last name.
Yeah, I didn't realize that. And I came up with my own ideas in my head, but please let us know.
I love it. So, Answer the Bell, the reason why answerthebell.com is taken is because Answer the Bell is actually something they say in sports, like in the sports world, but especially in boxing, because you come out to meet your opponent
Ding, ding.
when they ring the bell. And I went searching, basically using my last name. I wanted to kind of play off my last name. And I found that, and I was like, motherfucking yes.
Yeah. I like that play on words.
Yeah, because I'm
Ding,
like,
ding.
mental health can be a real struggle.
Yeah.
It's a challenge. And
sure.
we're going to answer the bell, okay?
Yeah. I like that,
We're going to get it done.
I like how I've seen you evolve and come into more of your authentic self in recent years. I enjoy, like, your little videos and stuff like that. I really enjoyed the one recently where you did the person coming to counseling for the first time.
Yes.
And they have the hoodie on, and they're like, yeah, I'm ready to do this, yeah. And then they're like realizing what it takes to really do this shit, and they're like, just
I
keep
don't wanna do
salts,
that.
you know what, I'm cool.
Yeah. Listen. But, like, how often it actually happens.
Yo,
you know?
honestly, in my own personal experience, I went through the therapy years ago, but I wasn't ready to implement.
Yeah.
So when I had the knowledge, and it was cool because I was kind of ahead of the game, but behind at the same time, chasing my tail, But the whole point is I ended up there,
Yeah,
So
exactly.
we all have our own journeys.
Listen, I tell people, like, I always, when I'm in with my clients, I always, like, really disclose, like, my life, going through therapy. I've been in therapy for over 10 years at this point. And I explain, like, I haven't just been with one therapist all this time.
Right.
They didn't fit. Like, I needed to move on to the next thing.
That's
the next
discouraging, though.
It is.
When you really are
very much
seeking
is.
help, it's discouraging. And for me, it was discouraging.
Yeah.
Because I would get comfortable with one. And then it's like, oh, hey, yeah, we're moving. So I'm going to a whole nother location or whatever. And I'm like, WTF?
Yo.
So then you got to start over again. And the worst part for me, I fucking hate to repeat myself. So.
Oh, they want you to start from the beginning.
The beginning. Like, you didn't just read my whole friggin' folder and all of the trauma that I already expressed. And maybe you could have touched on a few, asked me, you know, what was my greatest thing or whatever it is. No, you want me to start from the beginning.
The beginning.
And I'm like, yo, I don't even.
Tell me what your childhood was like.
Like, dog,
Why
I
are
don't
we
want to
talking
keep.
about that
Yeah,
again?
why are we keep talking about this? I already did this like 3 times with 4 other people. Like,
Yes.
I'm really not interested. See, this is the
Yeah.
shit that turns me off.
Yeah. Yeah, they actually, from what I noticed, again, in being in therapy all this time, because, you know, it's not like a steady thing for me, but it is like if I feel like I need to go,
Yeah.
I'm in there, right?
Yeah.
So,
I like how like easy they've made it. I had a friend, they're
Right.
like, yo, I wouldn't think they were the therapy type.
Mhm.
And they're like, man, my insurance covers it. I'm going through a hard time, stressing out. Like, I need somebody to talk to. And they do
Yo.
the video thingamajigger that they got going on now.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's like
COVID, you were the bomb for that.
Yeah, I realized that has made people reach out because of the ease of access.
Yeah.
Which
Now
is
that-
awesome.
So, like, even speaking to that, and for communities that really have struggles with receiving medical care, that is a major piece because it's like a resource we don't know that we need.
Yeah.
That's there, we just haven't accessed it. And when they make it easier to access, when they make it very upfront, like, you know, people use this regularly, you know, it just makes it a little easier to get in there and at least start talking, even if you don't stay. You went, you tried it out.
Right.
I don't know if I'm ready, you know?
Yeah, I might not go back
Right.
now.
And maybe you don't for some years.
Right.
And then maybe the next time you go back, you find somebody you really like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, it can be a hit or miss. I
Yeah.
do want to say that. It definitely
Yeah, I
can.
mean, we're all people. We all have come from different walks of life. You have to be relatable in some way and be able to have that conversation it's hard for us to be vulnerable and for you to explain your troubles and traumas to a stranger and you're not even sure if y'all click. Listen. That's why it's just hit or miss, like you said.
Yeah.
But if you're adamant about elevation and getting the help that you need, you're gonna realize, listen, don't give up. Just go find a new person to try
Okay.
because
Ooh.
and yeah. Oh
give
man.
me a good segue again.
Go for it.
Because tonight we talking about
Accountability.
self-accountability.
Yeah, hold yourself accountable to getting that help that you need.
Yeah, don't skip out on that, right? So I really wanted to speak to this because I feel like it's a lot of internet beefs happening where people should just be quiet because, like, you want to insert yourself in a situation when what are you doing?
That's
though?
why I don't do Facebook.
Don't get me
I'll
started on
post
Facebook.
something and no comments are we don't do comments. I don't engage. We don't do that. Instagram different. I like you either like or you don't.
Yeah.
Whatever. But yeah, like all that extra. That's what I don't like about it. I don't like the back and forth and people really say some really trifling shit sometimes. And it's
Yo.
like, yo, you really felt that was appropriate to put on my page? Like what?
Because they
What is
don't
wrong
care.
with
They're
you?
behind a keyboard or a phone.
Yeah.
They don't care.
It's weird. I'm like, I'm not
So-
cool with all that.
Yeah, it's crazy. So in a world where people are holding themselves accountable, we will come across that a whole lot less. You know, and I really think just because accountability is made up of acceptance and humility, right? As I was like, you know, kind of preparing myself for this, I'm like going over different things I've been through. You know, my different struggles. And one thing, like, majorly was humility. And I'm like, I don't think that people really understand how to put that in play in life some days, right? But that's really about checking yourself, right? So Kendrick Lamar said, be humble, right? Sit down.
Sit down.
That sit down is because you need to check yourself. Have a seat and a timeout, okay?
Right. Adults need time out
Yo,
too.
in real
Do
life.
they ever?
In real life.
Yeah, in real life.
But wait, I'm so glad you said that. I got to do that reel. So, check out my reels if you follow me on Instagram.
They're decent, yeah.
They are hilarious. So, the humility piece, I think, is a struggle just because that's really something you gain in character. It's a part of your character, and you gain it through the experiences that you have. But if you're not somebody who's even looking to grow through the experiences that you have, you will have no humility.
Right.
You don't get being humble. You don't understand what being humble is about, because when you get into these situations, you just like, oh, all right, whatever I did was right, however it went, and whoever I want to point the blame to, it comes up like that. So you never really get to understand, like, that sometimes you need to see what it was that you did.
Right. What did I do wrong in this situation? Whether it's I hurt somebody's feelings, I said something wrong, I did something wrong, I didn't take the time I was supposed to do on this, whatever the situation is, you gotta realize what part you played in it.
Yeah.
And a lot of folks, their ego gets in the way of being able to be honest with themselves.
Yo.
They live in an alternate reality. What's the DC world? Always Bizarro world or whatever.
Listen.
Yeah.
Healing is so egoless. That's not a place for your ego at all.
No.
Or it's not going to happen.
You gotta put it in the box on the shelf.
For real. Like, you're going to go through continual cycles. When you're somebody that's living in ego and feeling like you got to be right, feeling like, what you do is the right thing to do, how you go about things and cut people off, because we got a whole lot of that. What they call it? They calling it cancel culture now, because they always got to come up with some catchy
trendy
name for shit.
right.
I don't know. Like, we need to be done with these ways. And I hate to use the word toxic, because I'm like, people are like really abusing it.
Yeah, that
right now.
and narcissistic.
Yo.
Narcissists. They do exist, however. But
are we living in a society full of narcissists, though?
a lot of them have tendencies. I'll say that.
Yo, it's deep. So this conversation is for the narcissist as well, okay? Because they, I'm sure, need to do a lot of having accountability, having self-accountability.
Yeah, they're void of anything.
Yeah.
They're void of all of that.
Are they like borderline?
It's a personality disorder.
Sociopath?
Yeah. It's a personality. Both of those are personality disorders.
Yeah.
And it stems from unhealed emotional trauma. But I think those are the extreme cases where, they've gone above and beyond like the norm. And really that was, it mutated their personality into some toxic shit.
Yo.
Like that, like on the Simpsons where they have the big yellow tin and it's the danger shit. That's the shit they got in them, man.
Yo, it's deep.
A
lot of people are affected by narcissists,
Yeah.
actually, and they're somebody in their family that they've had a close relationship could be a narcissist or have a lot of narcissistic tendencies.
I've lived through that.
That's a lot to heal from.
Yeah, it is.
And I think that when you're learning about somebody being narcissistic, don't just go label them, but definitely
just watch for the red flags.
Yeah, notice their traits, right? And see what you can do in order to create boundaries
Right.
from that person. That's the best thing I
You
can say.
can't
to
heal
that.
anybody else. You can like you said, set boundaries and be aware of what it is that you're encountering.
Okay.
And that's your own self-awareness. Take accountability.
Yo. So, like, who do we have to be accountable to and why? I think that, again, I'm like a real deep thinker, so I think about these things. And it's really like, if you are looking to progress in life, which some people, I don't want to say they are not, but
They're just not.
They live in a space that is like, they feel like things are just going to happen, I think.
They're complacent.
Yeah.
And then part of it, they feel like it's owed to them.
Ooh. Ooh.
We're going to do another show.
Oh, that's a deep one. Entitlement,
Yeah.
for some reason, I think also came real heavy in character traits now in these, like, I don't know, maybe the last generation, the last two, within the last, I would say, like 15 years, right? Probably longer than that, 15 to 20, I want to say. These children, I got to say, because they children right now, please grow into adults that don't feel like people owe you things, because they don't. You're going to go into old age being disgruntled, right? Feeling like you need to just hate the world because they're out to get you.
Oh, you're wearing your cranky pants.
Yeah, like that's not a real thing. It's just not. Like, you cannot feel like somebody owes you something and you've only given the world like 20 years of your life.
Mm-hmm.
What do they owe you? So,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like, what have you done?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But I think in being accountable to who, really, the first person is yourself.
Right.
To be to a point where you feel comfortable in yourself, to be that honest with you.
There's people that live
We got
in
habitual liars out here.
Yeah, they lie to themselves.
And they think it's true. They think it's true. That's really what I'm getting
again, that goes back into the narcissistic thing. But they lie to themselves and create an alternate reality.
Right.
It's weird.
It's bad.
It is really bad.
Listen, stay away from people like that. Set real hard boundaries, like concrete wall boundaries.
Right. Yeah, well, they call it gray
that.
walling.
Yeah.
So put up those cinder blocks, man.
Yeah.
It's true.
Look, so that's something else to talk about, creating boundaries, because that's, I feel like that's a conversation I carry on a lot with different clients.
A lot of people feel they have to do for others because of relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just leave it at relationship.
Okay.
Because say
what the relationship. The value.
Yeah. Oh, well, like,
how
say,
much they value
I have to do this because this is my brother. I have to do this
yeah.
because this is my so-and-so. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what? It's okay to say no.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to do anything for anybody, especially if it's creating a hardship for you. And a lot of people put themselves in hardships for others because they feel they are obligated.
Yeah. But I think that...
And some of that is enabling and a whole bunch of other... That's a snowball effect, man.
No, it is. And I think that when you think about that in an aspect of being accountable to yourself, that is the first person you're supposed to be accountable to.
Yeah.
So when you've given all of, I don't know, I'm going to just say 50 pieces of your heart and yourself to people outside of you, you've given them 49, now you only have this one for you, and you're wondering why all the time you're so stressed, you're so tired, you get frustrated easily. It's because of that. You aren't being accountable to you and what it is that you value, where you want to see yourself. You're lending yourself out to other people, probably helping build other people's dreams, where they're headed. So when you got those friends you supported, and now you see them growing and they kind of left you in a win, what part did you play in that? Because you could have possibly fell back, in the early stages. And I think that that's a part of being accountable to you. Yeah.
Man.
It's deep.
It is deep. A lot of people don't have that love for self.
Ooh.
And that's, that you have to... A lot of people have to work on that. It doesn't come natural because we're so emotionally abused.
I think so. It doesn't come natural. I think that love comes naturally.
Yes.
I think that some people, or I only want to say some people, the reason why children lose that
innocent.
Yeah, that built-in love is because then the adults or someone older than them manipulates them because of the hurts that they've experienced.
Right.
And then it just is this cycle, and it's this grand cycle that's going on across the globe at this point, I'm sure, in many households. And children, I really feel like our children are suffering.
Yeah. I mean, look at the way the youth acts. Look at the violence. Look at everything that's going on out here. It's at an all-time high of negativity and danger, and it's just like, what happened to the neighborly affection and love for that neighbor and all that kind of stuff? I feel like some of my neighbors look at me weird because I do have like real hardcore relationships with some of my other neighbors, and I haven't lived on that block as long as they have, and I'm just like, you don't speak to them, right?
Why?
Right. You know what? My sister, she lives in a suburb of Boston, or she did. Yeah. And she's like, she was getting ready to move to a more rural place. And she said, I'm so excited because she said, I've lived here for X amount of years and I don't know any of my neighbors. And that's that city life.
Yeah.
And she says, I've before she even moved, they were going and renovating everything. Yeah. She said, I've only been there a couple times, and already I've had lunch with one of my neighbors and like three other.
People want to know you, even though they're spread out. They're just like, well, somebody just
Who's
moved in
that?
over here.
It's like the old-fashioned movie where they bring the casserole over. Well, hello.
Yes. But like, can we bring that back?
We would be weirded out by it.
I think so
Listen,
now,
men
yeah.
and women can't even interact in a social setting without somebody being like, I'm not looking at you.
Yeah.
And like, bull, like, yo, I was just saying hello.
Okay.
I'm not even interested, shorty.
It's
like,
really
we
women out here that think that every time a man speaks to them,
that's weird.
they're interested.
Yeah, I've had dudes do it too.
Ooh,
Like,
deep.
hello,
Yeah.
how you doing? You know,
Yeah.
just being cordial. And
Yeah.
they're like, what? What?
Listen.
All right, man. Whatever, man. Y'all
Okay.
weird.
It is getting really weird out here. So I really want us to get aligned. And I think that comes again with being, again, self, like focused on self, right? When you are more focused on you, you're going to think of how you allow things, I think, to penetrate you or how you react to different things.
That's when you know
Why?
you're changing, is when you
Yeah.
start reacting different to things that triggered you before. You know, you're like, wow, I'm really growing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like,
You know what?
monumental.
But that's another piece, I think, to self-accountability is why people don't do it, right? Because you can't see change that's happening inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
It's not happening fast enough.
Yeah.
And you can't see it.
Yes.
So until maybe somebody compliments you, because I'm certain that it's people in the world that have never received a compliment that sounds like, you know, I'm really enjoying this growth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you're a completely different person.
Mm-hmm.
There's some people who have never heard that.
Mm-hmm.
They're in their 50s
Right.
and never heard that.
Right.
It's like we can't remain stagnant. Like, we mimic nature. As humans, we mimic nature. So we have to grow. We have to evolve. We have to change. And even when we don't see ourselves changing, it is happening.
Right.
So you could be changing for the good or not.
That internal spiritual work, dark side or light side, is
yeah.
like you said, it's you can't see it,
Yeah.
but you know it's on the timeline,
Yeah.
and it's just one of those like, when is this gonna happen, man?
Listen.
But nothing, of course, divine timing plays in all things. And you can't eat half-baked cookies, so just wait for it, man.
Oh, snap. You can't eat half-baked cookies?
No, you go get sick.
I love cookie dough. I don't know what she talking
You gotta
about.
eat the one without the egg in it. You good. it's good.
I love cookie dough.
Yeah, cookie dough's good.
So
I'm
yes,
with you.
yeah. You know, I just think that it's kind of steps to take. I think that people don't recognize that they're not being accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Because we get caught in this like day to day. I don't know. They call it a rat race, right? I kind of hate using some of the like cliche things to say. Because I'm not an animal. So, like, I don't want to be in a rat race.
I don't want to be associated with a rodent.
Yeah.
But yes.
So, but people know what that means. So, like, just being in this cycle of, like, you know, oh, I got to get this done today. And then, you know, you go through the day kind of checking off the things you got to get done or not.
Some of them you keep putting off.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in that space.
Yeah,
I'm
I
in
do
that
it
space.
sometimes.
And so I think that when you do that and now 10 years of your life has went by and you're like, oh, I had stuff I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that as soon as you have that moment, that's a change, right? To say, like, I didn't accomplish the shit I really wanted to,
Right,
to
that was
accomplish.
the ding.
Okay? Follow that, okay?
Yeah.
Follow that into the path of being accountable to yourself. Make that list of goals, you know, and really hold yourself to that. Like creating creating rewards for the things that you do, those small things that you achieve.
Right. Some people don't know what they like. So it's like hard to reward yourself because you have been so suppressed
So
on
many
self-love
So many things.
that you don't know what you like. I always say this one story real quick. I got out of a marriage, started dating again. I thought I was ready.
Yo,
Went out.
Listen,
Yeah.
I've been there.
Went out. Dude's like, so what you like to do? I'm like, oh my God. Like,
Why would you ask me this big question?
right. Like, that's a normal one, right? No, I'm sitting there like, yo. And I had this dumb moment where I'm like, yo, I really don't know. And I start crying like, yo, I got to get out of here.
Wow.
I got to get out of here. Yeah,
Oh, wow.
it was crazy. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
shit, man,
I'm not ready.
I'm so not ready. Like, all you did was ask me what I like to do. I don't know what the fuck I like to do, man. I like to wake up.
I love
Anything
it.
else is a go. I mean,
Oh, snap.
yeah, but it comes to
real
that.
moment.
When you live for other
Yeah.
people for so long, you don't know what you like.
Yo. So that's also something I feel like I talk a lot about. Again, I'm really just mostly centered around self-awareness.
Yeah.
You know?
Because
So,
once you
like,
get the self-awareness, you can move in other directions.
you know when something's not working for you.
Right.
And so you pivot to a change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can
Well,
change.
if you're aware, please wake up
Okay,
so you can
listen,
become aware.
Self-awareness.
Right.
Yeah.
Please become
Yeah.
aware because, yeah, I wrote myself a big note on my refrigerator like a week or two ago, and it says, Rose, stop, stop. Just stop. You need to grow. Stop being content. Grow.
Yeah.
Because I found myself over the past month or two be like, whatever. I'm just floating. Like, what are you doing? You got shit to do.
Yo. Listen.
Yeah.
That moment. I'm like, it's so many, I think, like, aha, like, light bulb. That cartoon shit is real.
Yeah.
But it's like, really, we have to assess it, so that we understand how to take it and use it in life, right?
Right.
Because that light bulb was a real thing. That really happens, but it happens internally. And so you're not going to see it, but you can feel it.
Yeah.
Okay? Can you feel it? Can you attest to that?
Yeah, for sure.
So, like, when you have those moments, that's your spirit saying, now is the time. We must make a shift.
Yeah.
And I believe, personally, that when you do not respond to that
You
in a
already
way
know.
accordingly,
Spirit
you're gonna
says,
say,
I don't care if you are not ready.
yeah,
I'm going to make you so friggin' uncomfortable
that part,
that you're going to do what I want
that part.
until you get there.
Yo, no, in real life,
Uncomfortable.
you will stay in cycle relationships.
Yep.
If you do have or experience trauma from your parents,
Mm-hmm.
that will surely continue, and it may really drastically change. Things that you did not have planned for your life will all of a sudden just be rushed into your life.
Yeah. Yep.
Yep.
That's where a
oh,
lot of
man.
people are like, oh, a lot of crap's not going right for me. I'm like, because you weren't listening.
Yo, because you got that moment and was like, nah.
Not right now. Not
Yeah.
right now. Not right
It's
now.
too hard. Or
Yeah.
it's too hard, because that's what I feel like.
Yeah, and a lot of people, they lie to themselves to be like, oh, it's something so simple, I'll take care of it later. Then if it's so simple, why are you sitting on
Just
it, dog?
do it.
You're not a hen, get off the egg, let's go.
Listen.
It's so
Yo.
crazy. But it's those little things that are
Yeah.
so simple that you procrastinate on, and they're so detrimental.
Mhm.
So detrimental to
Detrimental
yourself.
to your growth.
Yeah.
Okay, because you just ignored this, but you feel like because you're physically growing, you're aging
Yeah.
every year,
Yeah.
that something's gonna happen and change, but it is not.
Yeah,
Let
you
me say
got to
that
make the
very clearly.
moves. Like you again,
Yeah.
accountability. You have to
It's
take that whatever it is and be
Yeah.
accountable to make those moves for the change to happen. Like it's not just, oh, well, I'm going to be famous. I'm going to, I'm so friggin' hot. They're going to just come pick me off the sidewalk. Like what?
Yeah.
Nobody knows who you are, man.
Listen.
Like I'm just going to make it very clear to you. No one knows who you are. So if you don't put in the groundwork and invest in yourself and put yourself out
Yo.
there, it's not going to happen.
The internet made that hard to believe.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say that very clearly.
Yeah, oh yeah, there's instantaneous
man.
stars from social media for sure.
Yeah, I want to can I throw a conspiracy theory out there? So, okay, let's take a weird turn. So one day I was thinking really hard because I just get real deep in thought some days, and I was like, you know how some how different people are related in an industry, you don't find out till years later. And I would love to think of a
Example,
but I don't know anybody. But I know Eddie Murphy put his brother on,
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Julia
But-
Roberts has a other actor brother.
Okay.
Things of that nature. Yeah.
Yeah, like
The
stuff like that.
Cusacks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Whole families in the game, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if, okay, the entertainment industry, because we think they were all just going to be famous one day.
Mm-hmm.
What if the entertainment industry is really just a bunch of families and they cultivate these actors and actresses? So there is
Like
really
the Barrymores.
no
and-
major shot for you.
Yeah.
They might find a random.
the major families
Yes.
of the industry that were once so powerful. I mean, they still got ties in there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't
They meet
be
people because when you get married, you're talking about being married. You come into a family, right? And if this family is saying, we do this thing, and if you're gonna stay being a part of this,
the royal family.
oh man, listen, it's just so many things you could think of, from that. So
If
I just
you
want to
be a
that
part
out
of
there
this, these are our rules.
in real life.
Yeah.
So like, be loving and accountable to you first, because there's some real mess going on out here that I think that we sometimes put ourselves in, and maybe sometimes don't know how to get out of.
Yeah.
One.
Some of that is because you don't. I feel like people don't want to be the guy, that guy. Like, oh well, I'm not cool with that, or speak
But
up.
don't wanna speak up.
Yeah, they don't want to speak up. They realize like that shit ain't cool, but they go along with it anyway, and a couple other things. It snowballs. It snowballs.
So I was talking about that the other day on the live.
Yeah.
Talking about communication styles, right?
I thought I was a good communicator, but
I love it.
I'm not so
let's get it.
sure.
Let's get it.
I'm not sure. I have this communication issue, and they think it's me, I think it's them type thing.
I love it.
And it's like, how much more clear do I need to be?
So,
Tell
right?
me. Help me out.
Yes. So what I was describing was basically the 4 basic styles, which I'm sure there's like other subcategories. And I also think that some people fall into a couple, right?
Right.
But it's being passive aggressive, being aggressive, and being assertive. Okay?
All right.
So passive, which you were describing before, not you, but people who get into situations and then don't feel like they can speak up, that's someone who has a passive communication style. They're just allowing things to happen, and they're upset. They could be upset inside.
Yeah, but they won't speak out
They're
and
not
stand against
going
it.
to do anything.
That's like most of America, folks.
Now they will have possible outbursts because it's all bottled up, right? That's not a good way to be. Then you have people who are passive aggressive.
I don't care, whatever you want. Oh, okay, cool. Wait, why'd you do that?
Yo.
I didn't want you to do that. Well, why didn't you I asked you your opinion.
I asked you very clearly.
I asked you, and you said, I don't care, so I do what I want. Now it's a problem.
Listen.
True.
And they are the type of person who may just let you talk and being passive, and then start to do like underhanded things.
Yeah, the nut shit.
It is real nut shit. Please don't do that.
She said, please don't do that.
Listen, like these are the issues that we're having in our relationships because people don't know how to express themselves.
Part of it, and I've been saying this for years, it's the advancement of technology that has pushed us apart as people.
Yo.
And now all we know how to do is text.
That's a word.
There, like a lot of times, sometimes I don't want to talk on the phone.
Me either.
Yeah. And so it's like, how are we going to get this done? I got to make myself, okay, Rose, I know you're not up for this right now, but, the little pep talk. I know you're not up for this right now, but you signed up for this shit, so you got to be accountable.
That part. Okay? Because that's really the thing. Again, being accountable to what it is that you said that you would do.
Right.
You went into this situation. Okay? Because, that's even, I think that I have had clients that will last minute think they're gonna get me on the phone, and I'm like, I do other things
right.
That's not just counsel people. So
right. It doesn't fit in my schedule today. I'm sorry. We have to make an appointment.
Yeah, I mean, and I make that very clear.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, yes, I have taken crisis situations, right? But
when you can.
Exactly.
You have a life too.
And if I cannot, then I make sure I try to get
someone else.
Exactly. A referral, or at least have a quick conversation where I make it very clear, I cannot stay on the phone with you. Let's do X, Y, Z, and then I'll check back in with you when I can. You get what I'm saying? It's just deep, and I think that in situations where, I don't know, I was going to say, people can, they feel like they can just get you, things got to be right now.
That's because we live in a microwave society.
So I think, again, when you're being self-aware and you're being accountable to you and what you decided you were going to do, I think that we then grow into having a lot less breakdown, because it's like, damn, I did say I was going to do this. This shit is hard. But I said I was going to do it, and maybe I need to reach out to somebody to get help.
Yeah.
Or maybe, not that you can't do it, because I do believe, like, you put your mind to it, you can achieve these things, but maybe I need to find a different resource for how to go about this. It's just so many things where I just don't think that we check in with ourselves and be honest with ourselves in order to grow where we need to go.
Yeah.
We really put blame onto outside things like, oh, my mama didn't love me right, so...
No, listen, you're a whole grown person. I heard that from like a 65-year-old person, and I said, excuse me, both your parents have passed, and you can't have that conversation anymore. So I'm going to need you...
What do you do then?
...to decide what you're going to do with these feelings and deal with them. Because at this point, you can't resolve... Yeah, you can't resolve them with anybody else but yourself.
Yo...
So it's like, yeah. So what are the other personality type?
Yes.
Communication styles.
Communication styles. So I did passive, aggressive. Aggressive, we all know very well. You live in Philly.
Yeah.
You know aggressive people.
For sure.
I don't even know if I really got to explain that.
Not at all. Not at all. Listen, one of my first experiences when I moved to Philly was I'm driving down South Street. And, of course, I've always been a fan of glasses. So I had glasses on. And I parked. Girl got mad at me because I was parking.
I feel like I know where this is going.
And she's like, excuse me, start doing all that. And I'm just looking at her like, I'm not from here, first of all. I'm a 19-year-old girl. Right. And I got this angry black woman yelling at me because I'm parking. And I'm like, well, what the hell you want me to...
Fast enough?
I guess I didn't do it fast enough. I didn't know there was a... I didn't know. I was new.
Aggressive communication styles just want to take over. They're right and you're wrong, and that's that. Period.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
We don't really need to explain that.
Not at all.
The last one is being assertive. Okay, and this is the one. And I said on the live, like, I pray every night that we can all get to having assertive communication styles, because it's being very clear about what you want, what you need. That's someone who can also advocate for other people who cannot, speak up for themselves or don't feel like they have, it in them to speak up for themselves.
A lot of it's confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a confidence issue. Or, I think some of it is, as a child, a lot of times kids are like, they're told, shut up. I don't care what your opinion is. You do what I say, and they're just a sunken shell of themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so a lot of what we do as adults, and especially in this kind of, I'm going to say, because nobody has their shit together at 30. Like, stop using that. That's not a status to get to.
Age, you know what? Age is not.
No.
It literally, as they say, is just a number.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, like, ebbs and flows and this and that. Like, life is life. It has ups and downs. Where you were once, you might not never be again. Like, listen, you make it what it is, but you got to make hold yourself accountable and make the right choices.
So, like, I just think that what the hell was I talking about?
You were talking about people who are not assertive enough. So the assertive communication style.
Yeah. So being assertive, right? You also really respect what other people have to say. So, like, clearly someone who's assertive is being accountable to themselves, right? When your good communication skills is being a good listener as well. So, like, you obviously are going to talk at some point, but you have to be listening to understand. And that's not something a lot of people do.
Not everyone can understand.
I don't know.
You can have a conversation, but if they're not on a level of understanding you, then what good is the conversation?
You just hit me with a brick just now.
I mean, because have you ever talked to your face till you're blue in the face and the person just sitting there like?
So, okay, yes.
Sometimes they don't care, and sometimes they don't understand.
Okay, so I would say that that's two separate groups of people, right? But I think that, again, going back to boundaries, that would then say, and being accountable to you, because you need to be first accountable and aware of who you are, what your position is. In a situation like that, where a person is not understanding, or giving a damn.
Mm-hmm. AKA.
Okay. You need to, I would say, I want to say make a hard left. Like, get out of there.
Yeah.
Like, that's not something we should have to do. Living our day to day, looking for success for ourselves in our lives, and then you find yourself continually explaining the same thing.
That part. That was when I knew. When I stopped responding to weird shit and shit I knew like was a waste of my time. Just so I used to feel like I needed to be heard.
Yeah.
So it's like if I felt wronged, I felt like I needed to express why I felt the way I felt.
Right.
And man, folks don't care. Some care, but if they don't, like, you gotta have the discernment. Like, am I wasting my breath here?
Yeah.
And once I got to that point where I don't feel I need to explain myself, oh my God, I was like, I love it here. I love it here.
Yo, growth is a beautiful place. I know it hurts. It can hurt like hell.
Yeah, but you have to get through that.
It is
hurt
beautiful
to find the
It's
nice
like,
place.
you ever seen in a movie where a place is looking real crazy? I don't know. I'm going to make it like it's some apocalyptic shit.
Mm-hmm.
It's looking real crazy. And then they wander into this area, and it's beautiful green oasis. Like, that's for real, like, growth. Like, that's what it feels like when you have those moments. Like, I have transcended to some next level.
Yes.
It's so beautiful.
Yes, and I always think of it as a video game, you know, because we're out here dodging and ducking and weaving and all this stuff, trying to get through the next level. Yeah,
Yo, that part, right, is also something I think people miss from being accountable, right? You're making choices and decisions every day. Every day. And when do you decide that when something's not working for you, that you stop doing that?
That part.
You just make that choice.
And you know what? I think let's turn into a whole rose counseling session. Listen. No, you know what? Because it keeps reminding me of life situations I've had. And when you say choices, I used to get stuck. Like that was hard for me. Oh my God, I got to make a choice. And then I'm like, what if I make the wrong choice? And then I'm an Aquarius, so I overthink and I analyze everything. And I'm like, okay, so the outcome of this one would be this over here.
The trajectory.
And the outcome of this one would be this over here. And I'm not sure about this here, but... And of course, you know, you never still make the right choice.
It doesn't feel like it.
Yes, I mean...
feel like it.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah.
We don't know. In 20 years, it could have been the right choice.
Yeah, you don't know, but it depends where you're at in your life. So some of those choices are the karmic lessons that you have to learn to get to the next level. But you have to learn the lesson to get to where you're going. And it's just, So one of the things that helped me with that, right? I would go to my pop and I'd be like, yo, that was I don't know what the hell to do. Help me out.
Yes.
So he's like, listen. My mother's also an overthinker. He's like, yeah, so I've experienced this for over 25 years. And in my experience is dealing with your mother. He says, and I see some of the same things in you. He says, this is my advice to you. I said, go ahead. He said, make a choice. If it doesn't work out, make another one. I said, yo, come on, that just sounds so right.
Mic.
Boom. And I was like, that was where the bing. And I said, whoa, it really is that easy, man. Because all the trouble I always had, I'd make the choice and I'd feel too accountable for the choice I made. And I'd feel like, oh, well, you know, I really got to give this my go. And I really got to da-da-da-da-da. And I'm the only motherfucker fighting in the situation, you know, and I'm fighting myself, really. Yeah. So it's like, hello, let it go.
Yo.
But sometimes it's like, that's our ego with feeling the failure.
Yeah.
We feel like we failed something.
Don't let it go because you messing it up. You messing it up. Let's figure out how to fix it.
Yeah.
No,
sometimes it doesn't need to be fixed. You just need to let that shit go.
Yeah.
Like we talked about last week.
Okay, I was about to say. That
Child, let
was
this
good.
shit go.
Y'all go back and watch that because that was good. That was a good ass conversation.
Go check out the last week's show with Mama Yoga.
Yes.
About child, let that shit go.
Listen,
It was a good group discussion.
Yeah, yo, listen, the group discussion got very lively. Okay, it was a lot of good
Did it ever?
opinions and things being said. It definitely was a learning tool. I enjoyed it.
It was a
lot.
good, good experience. A lot of people said it was funny.
Yes.
So obviously it touched them in some way.
Listen, that's good.
Yeah.
You want to evoke emotion.
Yeah, people remember.
Yo,
Go ahead.
Let me tell you something, because I find myself saying that to people a lot. Like, we get into relationships or in situations with people, pay attention to how people want to evoke emotion in you.
Yeah,
It's
is it
some people who
positive,
really
negative?
Do that.
Yeah,
They're doing
trigger.
it on purpose. It's not
That
being.
part.
It's not just happening. You know, they're not somebody who's being really self-aware and they just feel really good for you or whatever. Like, really pay attention to your relationships and how people show up in those relationships.
I met this little dangerous young John, right?
I love it.
This girl is a girl. She's young, 19.
I love it.
And she's like, I said, yo, don't you hate it when dudes like, don't you hate it when dudes do that? It's like, you don't pay them any mind, but they on your top constantly, like back and forth on your top and shit. It's like, man, don't you hate when they do that? Like, you know anything about astrology? And I said, yeah. They're like, well, I'm a Scorpio moon, so I do it on purpose. I said, oh, see, you're
Listen.
a manipulator.
Yeah. Yes.
Danger. And you're young
Listen.
and you know that? Oh, my God. That type of woman you might be, child. Listen.
Now
Men, watch
use
out.
that evil for good, though. That's possible.
Yeah.
Use what you know. Like, that's what I'm trying to get
Oh, she
people
was
to.
using what she knows.
You get what I'm saying? But I mean, she was self-aware.
Yeah,
But in a way
totally.
that she decided, I'm gonna get what I want.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really give a damn. What
And
they
all
got
it was
going on.
really was attention.
Yeah.
It wasn't
Yes.
even like anything beyond that.
Deep.
It was just attention. So you needed that attention that bad. Like for
But
me,
I
it's
feel like
annoying.
that's gonna turn into other things.
You already know.
That's gonna turn.
That's
into other
unhealthy
things.
habits.
Yeah, like negative things are always attractive to more negative things. Let me make that very clear.
It's like a magnet.
Oh man, it's deep. Spirit. That's how spirit works.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to say, just because I'm like, I know we rolling. In
Yeah,
the
we got about
conversation.
15 minutes. So you know what else you want to touch on?
Just because for me, I like to be solution based,
Mm-hmm.
right, and make sure that I'm giving what I feel like people can use.
Yeah.
So if I haven't made very clear, I do want to say that I think that there are things to look out for and kind of steps to take to being accountable, to being more accountable in yourself, right? And I do want to make those very clear before I leave here today.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing I have is to accept that you could be wrong. So when you get into a situation, and maybe another thing is like, I feel like when people say, or you find yourself having an aha moment where you were the common denominator.
Right.
You've had these situations happen over and over and over, and the person maybe new people were coming into your life, but saying the same thing.
I've seen that before. And they'd be like, everywhere I go, I got this problem. I'm like, well, did you ever think the problem's you?
Okay, so accept the acceptance piece. 'Cause
Right.
again, I think that accountability is really made up of acceptance and humility.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
accept that you could be wrong and be open to learning in those moments, right? Also, my next thing was to check yourself. So that's the humility piece, right?
Be humble. Sit
Okay.
down.
Okay. That piece right there, that chorus, that was really for a reason. Okay, let that speak to your spirit. Let that speak
He's
to your
actually,
spirit.
he does, I mean, we already know, he does conscious music
Yeah.
and what have you, but it's on the hertz scale, it's on the frequency scale,
Right.
So
Right.
he's with it.
Yeah. Yes. So, you definitely want to check yourself, and a way that I recommend for people to do that is really be steadfast about like a daily self-reflection. Okay, so like for myself personally, I do it every night. Whatever my day might have been like, when I go to get myself prepared for bed, I am also in my head, like, I don't think that I'm an overthinker, but in that moment, I become one because I want to go through my entire day.
I'm gonna call you the analyzer.
Yeah. and assess how my conversation was here.
Right.
You know, earlier my son was being crazy. Like, how did I react to that?
Right.
What part did I play? If this is a video game and I am controlling
How
it,
could I have done better?
what can I do next time when I might have to repeat this level?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, like, that type of reflection daily, okay?
Yeah.
Like, really just take a moment. It really don't take long, you know what I'm saying? Because the day go by like this.
Right.
When you get to relax, just think about what your interactions were.
Right. How did
and
it
how
go?
you
Was
showed
it
up.
positive, negative? Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Nothing crazy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I ain't telling you to keep a journal. Because when I bring that up, people be like, no, I don't want to do that shit.
Right. Right.
I'm going to do it for like 2 days, and then I'm never going to see this book again.
Yeah.
So, yes.
Yeah, journaling's not for everyone.
It's not. It
was never for me. Like,
Yo,
you know, I
do
wasn't.
a video diary. Shit is real. Listen.
Yeah.
Shit is real. So, another thing is to choose growth.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, we talked earlier about people, like, just being stagnant.
Mm-hmm.
They're just like, whatever, and something's going to happen, you know?
You got to choose to do something.
Yo.
She's just
Making
like,
choices.
right.
You got to really show up to this shit every day. Like, when people talk about, you know, thank God in the morning because you opened your eyes, like,
But did you really?
but really feel that.
Yeah.
Because, like, now you have another day to figure this shit out.
Right.
We just figuring this shit out.
Yeah, that's it. We're having a human experience, as Fran Daddy SP says.
Yes.
You know, we are just people on this planet living life.
Yeah.
And we don't have all the answers. And we have different experiences. We come from different
Yeah.
places. And we all have different skill sets. So, you know, what you do is not what I do, and so on and so forth. And we just spoke them up just like that. You know, you need to, like you said, be accountable and show up. Like, what role do I play in this?
Right? And so the last thing,
Mm-hmm.
while you might be somebody having that internal dialogue, like,
Mhm.
I really need to do some shit.
Mhm.
You sitting back and you like, I really need to do some shit.
Right, but what are you gonna do about
Okay.
it?
Now you need to get your ass up and
And
take
do some
action. Okay? Like, commit to doing something. Make your choice. And like
Yeah.
you explained, your pop said, make your choice, do that. And if it's not fitting,
Make another one.
it's that simple, y'all. I promise you.
It really is,
It
but
is that
for us
simple.
overthinkers that have lived in this place of uncertainty and being really, I'm just gonna use the word scared.
I got
you
an
know?
Aquarius baby, so I'm just wondering what to expect.
Yeah. We'll see.
I know.
So, yeah, you know, it's really like, and it seems so stupid, that anxiety that you get from that. Like, some people don't have that, so they don't understand, like, what's your problem?
Mhm.
And we all have our things we got to work through and
Yeah.
figure out and get there.
Yeah.
Not everybody experiences the same thing you do, so sometimes they're judgmental, and that sucks.
Yo.
But you just got to show up for self and do what's best for you. We don't live for anybody else. And my life wasn't a conference call. Your life wasn't a conference call. So, you know.
That's the reason why you need to be accountable
For
to
self,
you.
yeah.
Because ain't nobody going to be there when you go.
Right.
So then I think you find people having those laying on their deathbed moments like, I
Mhm.
wish I could have.
Yeah.
And I'm like, for me right now, to be honest, if I walked out this door and went, I'm good. Like,
Yeah.
I feel so good about how things have gone.
Yeah.
I'm good.
Yeah.
Take me on to whatever is after
Wherever
this.
I'm going.
I'm good.
I'm cool.
You know, so like, I think that that's an excellent place to even strive to be.
Mhm.
And that's how you can have a reason to hold yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Like, I want to feel like that one
Yeah,
day. So, like, what do
yeah.
I need to do to feel like I've achieved what I needed to achieve?
Right.
You get what I'm saying?
I do.
Man.
For me, it's it helps to write a list to help hold myself accountable.
Oh, yeah.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
write down
Visuals.
write down what it is that I want to accomplish. I want to do this website. I want to do this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
I want to get my, oil changed. Whatever it is,
Yes.
write it down.
Yeah.
And because a lot of times if it's in front of you, then you're like, oh yeah, damn, I got to do that. Right, click.
Listen, or get you an accountability partner that could be like, so the
Mhm.
last time we talked, you said that you would.
I'm that person. I'll be like, yeah, so what's up with that John we talked about, man?
Yeah.
I'll be like, yeah. So yeah. Are you gonna do it or are you gonna bullshit? Cause you want me to stop hounding you, or are we
Okay.
still on this shit? Cause
Yes.
I just want to know how much effort to put in.
Listen, in real life.
I'll help you get there, but if you're really gonna be honest to yourself about it,
Yeah,
you know,
it's deep. So like, you know, again, being accountable is more simple than you think. Let's stop the shenanigans online,
right?
because the world's getting real weird.
I don't like when people say, "Well, that's just the way I am. That's just who I am." What? That's such a fucking cop out, dog.
But
like,
why?
Yeah, like why is that acceptable to you? That's
But
acceptable
say to yourself when you say that, I want hear my voice in the back of your head be like, she said, but why?
But why?
Why are you like that?
Yeah. I do this because that. Like, what? Like, why are you're making excuses for
then
yourself?
rationalizing bullshit.
Yeah. You're making an alternate reality. Like,
it's hard to change, though. I
it
think
is.
when you've been doing something so long, like, okay, I'm going to give a personal example. I really held on to anger for a long time. I don't even think that people that know me over the last 5 years would know how angry I used to be. Like, literally to the point where I was on a ship in the Navy. It's 300 people on my ship. I ain't talking to no fucking body. I ain't talking to my chief. And I mean, really, like, not talking.
Right.
Period. People would be looking at me and they would be talking and I would be like,
whatever.
And then after a while, because they were talking about, like, me getting in trouble, I got a notepad and started writing in there. I wrote, like, yes, no, so I could just go right to it. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm tired
What was
of
your
shit.
reason for that?
I was angry.
Because it was too much engaging? You didn't want to engage?
I was angry. Like, I had gotten such to a point where I couldn't express my frustration that I was just, like, shut down. And people hold on. Like, that's a defense mechanism.
Yeah.
People hold on to shit like that. And it's like, where did that get me, though?
Nowhere.
If I had a goal of staying in the Navy to retire, it didn't happen.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If that was my goal when I first went in, that shit did not happen. And it could have been tied to that one moment that I decided to be like, oh, I'm so frustrated I can't even explain myself. I'm just going to not talk. Like, stop doing that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think a lot of times we shut down. We get frustrated, shut down. Oh, screw this. Like, I have a hard time being the one to call back. I'm one of those. I'll do it, but I will apologize. I'll think about, you know, what role did I play in this? And I'll you know, sort out my shit and I'll say, you know what? I'm sorry things went this way, da 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 da, so on and so forth. I'll apologize for where I went wrong in this situation or how I viewed this situation, because a lot of times I'll remove myself. Once stuff starts getting a little elevated and I'm starting to feel that yuck inside, I'll remove myself. I'll say, yeah, man, we'll talk about this later.
Do you have to explain yourself in a situation like that? I think that's something
what,
people
like,
also battle
like,
with. When you remove yourself, because
people get offended.
Nasty.
Yeah, people get upset. They get offended because they love that.
Yeah.
Ram. Yeah. They love that ram and head shit.
So do you have to explain the fact that you removed yourself in that situation?
At that moment or later or at all, you mean?
Period.
Do you have to? Not necessarily.
Okay.
I mean, you know, it depends who you're conversing with or whatever. Depends that what the dynamic is, I guess. But say it's, you know, folks I'm cool with, whatever, man, we'll sort this out later.
Yeah.
You
exactly.
know,
so I agree. I think that it's the level of relationship you have with that person or people. Yeah. Whether you return and explain yourself or not. Right. Because there's plenty of situations where you do not have to explain yourself.
Yeah, you don't have to explain yourself.
Don't do it. It feels degrading, I feel like, sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Think about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's also being accountable to yourself. I don't want to put myself in a situation where I feel degraded. Yeah. You know? It's deep. It's just so many things,
man. Tell them where they can find you and where they can render your services.
Yes. So I'm very easy to get on Instagram at Answer the Bell. All one word. Answer the Bell. You can definitely go to my website. It's atbphl.com. And I'll be around these Philly streets. You can catch me at the North Philly Peace Park sometimes. So if you want to just pop up there on a Sunday between 12 and 4, I'll be out there. You could get, you know, maybe some quick counseling.
Counseling, produce.
I'm hoping.
I'm
open to all of that.
Get your hands dirty in the dirt. They do some gardening out there.
It's so therapeutic.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
I always wondered why my mom loved gardening.
Yeah.
And I realized that was her.
Overthinker.
Yeah, that was her.
Oh,
that was
man.
her time to just be by herself and just pitter patter and do whatever. You know.
She was thinking.
Yeah, yeah.
But it probably made it a little more organized.
Right.
Oh
right.
man, that's
right.
deep.
Yeah.
It's deep.
It's neat. Listen, Glockaware is doing the hip hop concert series part 4.
Yes.
If you are into female hip hop, we're bringing Rocky to town. I mean, Rocky's already here, but we're bringing her to Chuck Alibis, and that's Saturday, June 26th, 8 p.m. sharp. So if you want to perform, hit up EA Glockaware and do the do. Got a bunch of other stuff coming up as well. I just want to real quick thank Rafiq from Organic Soul Village of Vendors for the experience today.
Yes.
We did a photo shoot. They will be available on Uber Eats. So, you know, we had to showcase the situation and good times, good things, people growing, doing things, expanding. And, you know, that's what we like to do here on the X Radio. So next week we will be doing our Art is Therapy session with Mar. And tune in for that. You can check out all the replays available on YouTube. Go ahead, search Glockaware and check for the X Radio. And until next week, we're out.